Bonsoir, Pascal.
Bonsoir, bonsoir.
Alors, bienvenue dans le CEAV English Talent.
Merci.
Voilà, tu vas te présenter et puis nous dire ce qui t'a motivé à participer, à accepter notre invitation.
Mhm. Bonsoir, moi c'est Pascal Belankou. Je suis béninois, j'ai 23 ans. Je réside au Bénin aussi. Alors, qui je suis? Actuellement, je suis le responsable du département créatif à la FPU Afrique. Donc, en gros, je supervise l'équipe qui concerne le graphisme, le montage vidéo et tout ce qui est art visuel. C'est ma position. Qu'est-ce qui m'a motivé à participer à l'événement? Déjà, au nom de la considération personnelle que j'ai pour la responsable du CEAV English Network. Et puis aussi, c'est toujours bien de contribuer à quelque chose qui est utile pour les autres, dans le sens où, à travers ton expérience, d'autres personnes peuvent se dire, je peux aussi faire tel, je peux aussi faire mieux, je peux aussi me lancer. Donc, c'est beaucoup plus dans ce sens-là, surtout, que j'ai voulu participer à cette discussion.
Merci beaucoup d'avoir accepté notre invitation.
De rien.
Pour les francophones qui suivent, bien entendu, nous parlons le français et le premier public cible pour cette première partie en français, ce sont les francophones. Comment s'est passée ta découverte avec la langue anglaise? Voilà. Comment et quand est-ce que tu es entré en contact avec l'anglais?
Alors, le premier contact, c'était au collège, je pense comme tout le monde. J'ai eu la chance d'avoir une enseignante qui était plutôt très, très investie dans son métier. Et je pense que c'est elle qui m'a premièrement donné l'amour à l'anglais. Et puis, voilà, avec le parcours, mes orientations professionnelles et tout, j'ai compris que c'est beaucoup mieux quand tu te penches vers l'anglais parce que ça t'ouvre plus de portes et tout. Mais le premier contact avec l'anglais, voilà, c'était à l'école. Et heureusement, j'ai eu une enseignante qui était vraiment, vraiment au-delà de l'aspect académique de la chose. Elle était vraiment impliquée dans le personnel, les relations, la motivation, tout ça. Voilà. Et je pense que c'est ça qui a été le déclic et qui a fait que, voilà, j'ai continué sur le chemin avec l'anglais et tout.
Hmm, d'accord, je vois. Donc tout à l'heure, on aura l'occasion d'apprécier ton talent, puisque c'est le CEAV English Talent, on aura l'occasion d'apprécier ton maniement de la langue de Shakespeare. Alors, aujourd'hui, comment tu qualifies ton niveau en anglais?
Euh, je ne dirais pas que je suis excellent en anglais, mais j'estime que je suis quand même au-delà de la moyenne. Je comprends aisément, j'arrive à tenir une conversation avec un anglophone, que ce soit un américain, etc. Je dois reconnaître que le temps m'a également aidé parce qu'avec la pratique, avec les échanges, les réunions en ligne et tout, voilà, il y a tout ça qui a fait. Mais aujourd'hui, si je devais apprécier mon niveau, je dirais que je suis quand même au-delà de la moyenne. J'arrive à comprendre, j'arrive à m'exprimer clairement sans être voilà, limité par les mots. J'arrive vraiment à tenir une conversation et voilà. En gros, c'est ça.
C'est intéressant. Donc, tu cumules en quelque sorte à peu près combien d'années de pratique de l'anglais, notamment à l'oral? Ça te fait en tout combien d'années?
Dans la pleine pratique de l'anglais, je dirais 5 ans. Je retire tout ce qui est académique au collège et tout. D'un point de vue dans la vie réelle, la pratique de l'anglais, ouais, disons 5 ans.
Mhm. Et quelle est la différence entre ce que tu as appris au collège et l'anglais de la vie réelle?
Je dirais que l'anglais du collège, c'est beaucoup plus orienté vers tu essayes d'apprendre ce dont tu as besoin pour avoir les bonnes notes. Et ça ne te pousse pas forcément à essayer d'explorer tous les aspects de la chose. Tu essaies juste d'apprendre tes leçons, les leçons qu'on t'a appris, et du coup, ça te limite à connaître uniquement ce qu'on t'a appris à l'école. Je pense que c'est beaucoup plus là la différence parce que dans la vie réelle, à travers les interactions, les échanges et tout, parfois, ton interlocuteur peut sortir un mot que tu ne connais pas. Et voilà, tu es obligé forcément soit de lui demander de t'expliquer, soit après l'échange, tu cherches et voilà quoi. Donc, il y a cette différence-là entre l'anglais à l'école et puis l'anglais de la vie réelle.
Et aujourd'hui, après 5 ans de pratique intense de l'anglais au niveau étudiantin comme au niveau professionnel, qu'est-ce que tu en tires comme satisfaction?
Hum, satisfaction. Bon, déjà, je trouve que l'anglais, c'est beaucoup plus facile que le français. Bon, nous qui sommes nés francophones, naturellement, on est nés dans le système francophone et je dirais automatiquement, en quelque sorte, on est obligé de prendre. Mais d'un point de vue, quand on essaie d'analyser de façon objective, déjà, l'anglais est plus facile à apprendre que le français parce que la réalité est que les anglophones ont plus de mal à apprendre le français que nous à apprendre l'anglais. Donc, voilà, c'est une langue déjà très facile qui va à l'essentiel et même dans la mentalité des anglophones comparativement aux francophones, on sent qu'ils sont beaucoup plus pragmatiques par rapport aux francophones parce que nous, voilà, je ne sais pas si c'est à cause de la langue, mais on est trop orienté vers la réflexion, les échanges, les mots, le discours. Et franchement, si je devais choisir, je préfère de loin la mentalité anglophone. Vraiment, vraiment. Je préfère de loin la mentalité anglophone.
Ok, je vois. Alors, pour terminer cette première partie en français, concrètement dans ton quotidien au niveau professionnel avec l'anglais, qu'est-ce que tu fais concrètement?
Oui, alors concrètement, je travaille sur des projets, ce que ce soit des images ou des vidéos. Et la réalité est que je dirais 90% de tout ce que je fais est en anglais. Je travaille pour une ONG. Donc, notre cible, notre public cible est majoritairement en anglais. Du coup, tout ce que je fais est en anglais. Les graphiques, les vidéos. Et puis, quand tu finis, naturellement, tu dois documenter ce que tu as fait. C'est en anglais. Tu dois faire un rapport à ton supérieur. C'est également en anglais. Quand tu as besoin de quelque chose, tu dois demander. Du coup, les échanges se passent en anglais. Les contenus que j'écris sont en anglais. Et depuis un moment également, même quand je suis à la recherche de ressources, de tutoriels, la plupart du temps, je cherche également en anglais. Donc, quotidiennement, mon quotidien tourne autour de l'anglais, à part les échanges avec les gens en présentiel. Sinon, dans le travail, c'est purement autour de l'anglais.
Intéressant ça. Alors, si on prend les 4 dimensions d'une langue en général, écouter, parler, lire et écrire, qu'est-ce que tu fais le plus couramment? C'est un peu de tout ou bien qu'est-ce qui a le pourcentage le plus élevé? Écouter, parler, lire et écrire.
Euh, je dirais que écrire peut-être au mieux et juste après, il y a le parler. Après, il y a le écouter. Ah, il y a aussi lire, hein. Oh, je pense que lire serait en deuxième position, mais oui, je pense que c'est le écrit qui domine quand même le plus.
D'accord, je vois. En tout cas, merci déjà pour nous avoir éclairci sur ton parcours en français. Le temps est venu maintenant de switcher en anglais. Voilà, pour que les uns et les autres puissent apprécier ton maniement de la langue anglaise. C'est une façon à nous de célébrer tous les efforts parcourus parce que apprendre à parler une langue, on va dire, ce n'est pas l'enfer, mais ça demande beaucoup d'efforts. Ça demande beaucoup d'efforts. Il faut savoir apprécier, il faut savoir reconnaître les efforts qui sont quand même parcourus par les uns et les autres. Et c'est ça l'objectif du CEAV English Talent, savoir reconnaître les efforts des uns et des autres. Et puis de ces francophones qui sont fluents, qui parlent couramment aisément l'anglais comme toi, les féliciter et puis leur offrir un espace d'expression et de partage. So with that said, let's go in English. Okay, let's jump right into it. Okay, now we are speaking English. Okay, could you please
No problem.
could you please now introduce yourself?
Okay, good afternoon once again. My name is Pascal Belankou. I'm the director of the creative department of Universal Peace Federation in Africa. It's a non-governmental organization. So I cover all the graphic and creative aspects of our work in the organization.
Okay, good. So you are quite young, as I can see. So how old are you?
Oh, I'm 23 years old, actually.
Okay, and where do you come from? Your background. Where do you come from, and where
Um,
do you live?
I'm from Benin. I was born in Kondi. It's in the north of the country. And actually, I'm living in Calavi, in the south of the country, from Benin. Born in Benin, lived in Benin, and currently living in Benin also.
Good, good.
Yeah.
So as you know, my bound with Benin, my tie with Benin. I've been there for 3 years. My husband is from Benin, so everything related to Benin is like my life. Okay, part of me.
I
Okay,
see.
so good,
I
good.
see.
So it's not a coincidence if the first person to come to join the CEAV English Talents comes from Benin. So okay, good.
Probably.
Yes. So when did you start learning English?
Um, I started English in secondary school. I believe as everyone, I had the chance to have a very good English teacher. She is from America. She came because of a program of American trying to help in Africa for the education, that kind of things. And then she had been my teacher for the 2 first years I had in secondary school. And usually she always tried to be very involved in the everyday life, like trying to understand what is your reality, not just teaching you English at school, trying to understand who are your parents, where do you live, to make sure that you are in the best condition. And the last thing also is she had something to motivate us to work. When you have the best notes after an exam, she had some kind of chocolate or sweets that she gives us. And in that time, it was something like a kind of motivation for me to be always the one who gets the gifts. And yeah, I think it was the yeah, it was the beginning of my story with English. And after she left, I have several teachers, but there was not so amazing as the first one. But the reality is, I don't know how to explain, but she gave me such a huge love for the language that I just kept with English till the end. And around the end of my secondary school experience, I was not learning English as something technical because all my roommates was like trying to understand English through formulas to make rephrasing sentences. They have a lot of formulas, if plus not plus this. But personally, I was just like trying to understand the what's going on and trying to express it as I understand. And yeah, this was how my English experience started. And then at university, because of making research, I noticed that it's better to look for things in English because there is more content available in English than in French, actually. If you want to understand something, it's more easier to find the efficient content that you want in English more than in French, actually. So I think these are the two elements that made me really start loving English and keep it till today.
Okay, I see. Quite interesting story. So I guess you had good grades in class during your time in secondary school. Your grades. your marks. You were a good student
Oh,
in English.
yeah, of course, naturally.
I see. So why didn't you choose like pursuing a university study in English?
In fact, I didn't study English at university, but for example, for the last years of our university study, we had to write a document for the bachelor degree attestation, and then in the research of the different elements you need to write all the documents, searching references, that kind of things. I noticed it's very, very more easier to find what you are looking for in English more than in French. This is what I was talking about, actually.
So what did you major in at
Um,
university?
Excuse me.
What's your specialty? What path did you choose? What
At
did you
university,
study?
right?
Yes, at university. What did you study?
Economics.
Economics. Okay.
Yeah, economics.
I see. That's interesting. Okay. Here is a key question. As you told me, many people, we all encountered English language at school, okay? But very, very
Hmm.
few people can really speak it to a fluent stage. They really struggle. However,
Yeah.
what made you become fluent in English?
Uh, I think it's because of the work. Because as I said, as everybody, I started in secondary school. When I finished university, I started first working as a freelancer. So I am always on internet working with people, and most of people when they text you, even if it's someone from, let us say, India, for example, the language you will use to discuss it's English, And noticing that reality made me take English seriously. But the element that made me have a better level in English, it's the work I'm doing actually, because most of my co-workers are English. Ones are in South Africa, others are in America, and most of the time, let me say always, when we have meetings, we have to discuss in English. I remember in the beginning it was a little bit complicated because it is the moment where you realize that the English of school have nothing to do with the English of real life. And then it was a little bit challenging for me. But yeah, let us say something around 6 months with having meeting, usually practicing. I started getting better in English. And actually, if I should identify what made me have a better English, I think it's because of the work, because of having meeting in the work weekly, having to explain things to English people, having to understand English people giving you orders. It was the main motivation, and yeah, today I'm very grateful for being able to practice a better English.
I see. So you were involved in the usage of English. You've been using it for
Yeah,
real in real life circumstances. That is great.
yeah,
So, but
exactly.
you said the English we learn at school is very different than the one we encounter in real life situation. So to tell us
Yeah.
more, because I mean, the English we learn at school is supposed to prepare us to use it in real life. Why do you think it's different?
I don't know if it's the same situation in all the French countries of Africa, but the reality is, in my case, for example, even when we have English class with the English teacher, he or she doesn't speak English in the class. Actually, the only one that speak English is the one I had in the last year of my secondary school experience. Most of them, they come, and to explain you what's going on, they always talk in French. and it's like they just give you some expression. They even don't emphasize the pronunciation aspect of things. And then learning English was like something very technical. You have to know this, you have to know how to match this and this, you have to know how to use this strategy. And it was completely technical. There is not something pushing you to understand really the language itself. And then I remember most of my classmates, when the teacher starts speaking in English, I mean the English teacher, when he starts explaining his course in English, nobody understands what's going on. And I think this reality illustrates clearly the difference between English at school and the real English. Because when I came to university, meeting some friends coming from Nigeria, you realize that what you thought you know as English was not the real English, in fact. So yeah, this is the reality.
But you said you were lucky to have an English speaking teacher from the very beginning of your experience with English.
Yes.
And she came from the US. And she would speak
Yes.
English all the time, right?
She tried to speak a little bit French. She tried to speak a little bit French because coming to secondary school directly, we had no notion in English. So if she were fully English, we could not understand what she was saying. So she tried to be, but also, oh, I forgot to notice it. She had a lot of things to illustrate what she's saying. For example, when she says a banana and she want to show you, most of the time she have maybe a tablet or maybe something that really shows you what she's saying. And when she want to show you greetings, she have illustrations and that kind of thing. Yeah, I think this also helped us to understand more what's going on.
So let's say it's the way the language is taught. And this is a game changer. The way the teacher
Yeah.
teaches it, it changes everything. And that was your case.
Yes. Yes. It makes the difference.
I see. So now you're involved on a daily basis in an English speaking environment. So you have your boss, your colleague, I mean, everyone, your target audience. So most of the things that you are doing right now, you are doing those things in English. And
Yeah.
so tell us exactly what are you using English for on a regular basis?
Um, First aspect is making research because since I'm the department director, I'm not really given all the instructions of what I have to do. What I mean is when we want to make, for example, a video on a certain topic, as you are the director of the department, you just get the order of what needs to be done. And then you have to make your own research on others organizations to see how they made this, how they, and then, yeah, on every day, I think this is the most important part of what I'm doing with English. And secondary, also, I think creating the contents, since I have to do them in English, it's like you have to find the best expression. I'm not English originally, so I don't master the kind of expressions they use to express things as we do in French, and then I have to make research on that also. But technically, if I should summarize, I think the most important part of working is making research on English and to push myself, to force myself to practice English. All the tools I use to work also are in English. Like I changed the language of the softwares I use and everything into English. Then I force myself to understand everything in each software. Yeah.
That's interesting. But you said something earlier you said that you studied economics at university, right?
Yeah.
And now
Yes.
you are a creator. So you said you studied economics, and now you're working
Yes.
in, I mean, in
Design,
design.
graphism.
I mean, which is quite
Mhm.
different. So why are you not like working as a in the economic department of your organization? So what made you change
Um,
your career? Because that's the different career.
yes. The reality is there is unemployment actually. And the main reason that made me start learning graphism, video editing, and everything, I think it's unemployment because when I finished, I started looking for um, work as everyone that get graduated. But the reality is, I didn't found. And unfortunately, when you find a job, the conditions are not really good for you because your house is too far or because the pay is not sufficient to cover your life fees, actually. And then, yeah, based on that reality, I started making posters, design, video editing, and I started working on freelancers platform. And it started paying me a little bit. And based on that experience of freelancing, I got how to say, a kind of job, a kind of remote job from the organization I'm working with actually to work on a project. And I think after working on that project and after giving them the result they expected, they decided to go further with me. And then they contacted me, proposed a kind of contract with the different responsibilities, and it was okay for me. And then I started working as a designer. This is how things went for me, actually.
The thing is, why did you choose designing? When did you start like learning designing? Did you go to a school or?
Let me tell you all the history. Actually, I started working with a brother, a friend, but a brother because we are very close. And the idea in the beginning was to create a marketing agency. Because of unemployment, as I said, we decided to create a marketing agency. I started first with programming, learning to program, to code. And the second brother I'm talking about is also a programmer. So the idea was to let him continue with the programming aspect. Then I will focus on the design aspect. Then we have all the competencies we need to start working as an agency.
So my question is learning designing you yourself, because this is a new skill compared to
Yes,
economics. So is it something that you already
yes.
knew before, or is it something that you had to start learning?
I started learning from zero.
When
I
after
started learning.
graduating from university, or like when?
Mm, I got graduated from university in 2020, in the beginning of 2020. I started learning design, let us say, around the end of 2020. So I used 2020 to realize that because of unemployment, I'm not going to find a job. And then I decided to switch to something else. So yeah, I started around the end of 2020.
So like you learned, did you learn on your own, or you went to a school to learn
I
designing?
learned I learned everything on my own knowledges. Like I went on YouTube, tried to make research. I didn't go went to any design school or something like that.
So you are a
I just
DIY guy, did do it yourself guy. You learn things on
yeah,
your own, like
exactly,
okay,
exactly.
I see. That's quite interesting.
Even even when I have how to say missions to accomplish and it seems difficult, most of the time I try to find a solution myself, usually, instead of asking a lot of questions. When I know that it's possible to look for it on YouTube, on Google or anything, I just do it myself instead of asking questions.
I mean, like you kind of ask questions online, like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But I mean, but through your that ability to look things on your own to say, okay, I need to know this. I need to go online to type the question and get the answer. So you have developed that ability to look for things by yourself and not to wait for like, okay, I don't know how to do it. Okay, I have no skills, so I can't do it. So no, 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 that won't stop me on YouTube, like internet and YouTube, everything. So it's a worldwide university. You can learn everything,
Yeah,
like
yeah, everything.
everything. Nothing is unlearnable nowadays.
Exactly, exactly.
I
But
really.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the reality is, I just decided because, as I said, after graduation, realizing it's complicated to find a job, I just understood I need to do something. And yeah, I just jumped in. And I'm happy also because in that period, we were in the moment of COVID-19, and then everybody was at home. We were not able to go out. And then at home every day, internet available. I just decided to do something with it.
So you use that time, that availability to learn, to go into deep
Exactly.
learning, not like wandering around. No, you say this is the best time for me to learn, to
Exactly.
dive into it. I really like it. I
Do
really like.
something.
Yes, that's really
Yeah.
good. Good. And now, what made you realize that your English background was a very valuable skill that you had, and the fact that you were able to speak it was a game changer.
I see. There are two elements. The first one is when I was learning about design, as I said, it is possible to find general content in French as in English. But most of the time, when you want to go deeper on a certain topic, usually you don't find content on it in French, and it is usually in English. This made me like, oh, if you want to really understand things deeply, you need to understand English deeply. This is the first aspect. And the second one was the job I had actually, because the first day of the job, I had a call with the responsible of my department, and we discussed on WhatsApp, on a WhatsApp call. And this is the moment I noticed, listening to his English, that I need to improve my English because I was really like asking questions a lot of time when he finished a sentence. Excuse me, I didn't understood. It was really complicated, and yeah, this made me realize that I need to really upskill myself in English, and yeah, this is the element.
What English accent was it?
It was the American one.
American English.
Yeah,
The hardest one for many people.
exactly.
I think
It's
American
not.
English is the easiest. I don't know why people like struggle. They freak out when they hear Americans speaking, but well,
Probably because they, how to say, they don't pronounce correctly some words, some letters. Probably the reason why. But I practiced American English so much that I think actually I feel more comfortable with it instead of the British one.
yeah, this is what we call exposure because the longer you are exposed to it, now eventually, I mean, you feel it's easier for you
Yes.
because you hear it all the time, you use it all the time. And talking about usage of English in your working environment, what do you do the most? Like in terms of the different skills. of a language. When we talk about listening, speaking, reading, writing, what is it that you are the most involved in?
I think it's the writing and secondary the listening because as designer you need to sometimes even you need to write a document and all what you get is we want to have a document about this topic, we need this inside it, and then you have to create all the structure of the document, create the everything of it, and about document, for example, English document have are not necessarily made with the same architecture than the French ones. So you need to make research, learn, and yeah, I think the most part is the writing aspect.
So you don't talk a lot.
No, even when I want to send a report in work, usually it's through text, and when needed, I can send a voice note.
So the time you happen to be speaking, like say those times are during meetings, right? When you are asked
Exactly.
questions,
Yes,
like to
exactly.
report or to give some feedbacks on. Okay.
Explanations also.
Okay. And let's talking about something that is a, let's say, a huge like barrier for those who want to be fluent in English, the fear of making mistakes. So tell me about that. Tell me your experience. Do you have some stories about like
Wow.
making mistakes, being afraid of not being understood? Like, tell us.
I think it's making mistakes. It's part of life, actually. Like you can't want to do something and no, do not make mistake completely. All of us will have our moments of making mistake. But personally, for example, in the meetings, I remember the first 2 or 3 meetings was a little bit complicated because there is the listening aspect of it. But when the moment comes to you to give your report, it was a little bit complicated because you are explaining something and then in the middle of your sentence you need to say something and you don't have the right words you have to say, and then yeah, it was challenging for me, honestly. Sometimes I even have DeepL opened here, and like when I lose the word I need to type it. I need to type it and then say it. So yeah, I think it's um you don't it's not helping to be fearing to make mistakes. Like the most important is to admit that you are not perfect, and perfect comes with practice makes perfect, as we say. So yeah, it's important to accept that, to admit that you can't be perfect on the first try a lot of time, and then naturally it will come, because actually people I would not say impressed because the impressment aspect passed. But when people listen to me speaking English, they are a little bit surprised
Yeah, so
because
am
they
I.
know me.
So am I because
So, so yeah, I think it's the most important. Admit first that mistakes are part of learning, and then just practice. With time, the perfection will come naturally.
what you are talking about is very, very key. It's very, very deep. I mean, forget about the fear. Like, let it go. Just speak.
Yeah,
As long as you are adding value, as long as you are providing the results, the outcome you're supposed to be providing. I mean, as long as people can understand, you can get straight to the point, you can get them the result. I mean, you can say, oh, that's it. I did
fine.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can be
It's already
proud
fine.
of, you can be proud of yourself.
Thank you.
To
Thank
be
you.
honest, I'm very proud of you. Like we've never talked like that before. It's our first time like
Yes.
talking with each other. So I was thinking like I want to be surprised. Like positively surprised. I want to be amazed. I
I
want to be
see.
mesmerized. Let's say that. Yes. So I want a good surprise. So let's go. Let's bring this CEAV English talent along and let's see how it goes. And like this goes beyond my expectation.
I see.
Yes. So few more questions to
Mm-hmm.
get to know more about your experience and to get to hear more stories from you.
Okay.
So, what benefits have you gained thanks to the English language?
Mm. Benefits. Honestly, I use it so much that it's a little bit complicated to appreciate really all what it brings to me. But the first benefit I would say is the job I had actually, because I would not have it if I didn't work to improve myself in English. And also, I think the most important benefit actually is the capability to learn everything. Because as I said earlier, there is a lot of content that are not available for French speakers. Usually, the last elements that are created, the last high-tech things that appear, that kind of things. When you look for tutorials and explanation on them, most of them are in English first. Even for movies, when they appear, you have the English original version first, and you have to wait for long before to have the French one. So as benefit, I think that aspect of being able to appreciate everything, being able to consume everything comparatively to the French ones, that needs necessarily to wait until there is French content for them before they can have it.
I see. I see. So, like people want to have more money. I mean, which is understandable, but it's not the thing. It's not the goal. I mean, it's the goal is beyond money, beyond a job. It's
Yes.
being able to like
Yes.
to 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 feel free to do what you want to do with English, not
To
being
go where you want to
limited
go also.
to do what?
To go wherever you want to go also.
Yeah, yeah, no limit.
Because if you can't speak English, even the basic English, actually, you can't communicate with people in non-French countries. Because even if you go to Russia, actually, even if it's a Russian country, probably there is one people that can understand English and help you. But if you try with French, you have probably no chance to get understood, actually.
So we francophones in general, French language has a limit. Okay, so what can we do? There's
Yeah,
nothing we can do about it. The only thing we can do is to learn to speak English, and then we can
exactly.
like go beyond this limitation.
Exactly.
So we are heading to the conclusion of our interesting conversation. We can go on and on and on, but there are other things that you need to do as a very busy, young, intelligent, smart man, and we don't want to take too much of your time. Now, tell us, what is it that you are
Mhm.
dreaming about and you think English can help you reach those goals?
Honestly, since the beginning, I mean, since being a child, I wanted to be someone that can, I would not say change the world, but change something in the world. And if you want to accomplish that kind of thing, if you want to be seen, be understood worldwide, you need to have a good English. So my next challenge actually is to practice more watching movies in English, because I need to improve more that aspect of understanding in real situation people speaking English in movies and getting everything they say. Because actually I understand, but I think I need to practice more. But yeah, this is my main dream. Find a way to impact the world, find a way to be heard, to be seen, to be understood worldwide. I don't know yet what I'm going to accomplish, but I know I will accomplish something in this world.
And we really hope you will. Really hope
Thank
you will.
you.
So, lastly, tell us, what do you think about the CAV English Talents? You are the first guest. What do you think about this idea?
Oh, as I said in the beginning, I think it's the main importance, the main purpose. I think it will have, and the main aspect I feel it will help people on its helping them understand it's possible to to improve. It's possible to practice and have a better English. It's possible to be French speaker and have a better English. Not necessarily having the best English in 1 month, but practicing monthly, practicing every day. Naturally, the level will improve and will get better. So yeah, honestly, I'm very happy to contribute in my way to inspire, I hope, a lot of people to notice that it's possible to be French native, French speaking, French studying even, but to learn and improve in English.
Thank you too. So we hope you'll invite your friends to come along
No problem. No problem.
and talk
No problem.
and have this
No problem.
conversation with them as well. Okay, so your final
No problem.
words.
Yeah, what I should say is to all those watching us, just believe that you can do it, because the reality is, personally, I made everything in French. I made everything in French, but actually I learned and I am progressing. I'm not yet at the summit of my English travel, but yeah, I'm still learning, improving my English. And the second thing is, when we watch all the journey, we feel like it's too long before getting to the finish. But it's better to start today than starting tomorrow. So yeah, I just want to invite everyone. If you are still hesitating, wondering if you should start or not, you just have to start today. And yeah, it will be a pleasure to meet a lot of people, to help as I can, of course, and to give my example if it can inspire people also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
Thank
accepting this
you.
invitation, for joining us for this conversation. We've learned a lot. I have learned a lot, and I'm very grateful. And once again, congratulations. Your English is
Thank you very
great.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Pascal, and talk to you maybe next time. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Okay. God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.